What were the dumbest lies you believed when you were a kid? Number 1. When I was a child, I got upset after a button came off of my shirt. My mother told me not to worry and that if I placed the button under a rock in the yard, the button fairy would replace it with a quarter. I believed it, and to my mother's dismay, she discovered I had pulled the buttons off of every shirt in my closet. To this day, 40 years later, shirt buttons can still be found under random rocks in my parents' backyard. What happened when you learned about the tooth fairy? Number 2. I was 7 years old. One of my teachers wanted us to write a letter to a family member or a friend or someone. I wrote the letter. Got the envelope. Got the stamp. My mom had worked at the county jail at the time, and she suggested I write one of the inmates who never got mail. So I did. I wrote something along the lines of "I'm sorry you're arrested, but I hope you get out." I even signed it with my 7-year-old signature. While I was writing the letter, my mom had left to get to the store. I asked my older brother what our address was because I needed to put a return address. He said, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. 20500. For those that don't know, that's the address to the White House. I wrote it on the letter and put it with the mail my mom was sending out. Mind you, I grew up in Michigan and never left the state, but I wasn't smart. Years later I went to pick my mom up from work and one of the co's called me Mr. President and I asked why he said that. He mentioned the letter I wrote years prior and how it was a joke in the jail anytime my mom mentioned me. Number 3. My parents convinced us that the person knocking on our door on weekend nights when we were asleep was our Uncle Shiloh stopping to say hello. We don't have an Uncle Shiloh. It was the pizza guy. Number 4. When I was a kid my dad told me it cost 25 cents to change the radio station to keep me from effing with the radio in his car. I believed that until I was 14. Number 5. Eating too much sugar will glue my ass cheeks together. Thanks mom. Number 6. My grandmother told me that pinching gave cancer. I got pinched once at recess and yelled at the person because I thought they were going to give me cancer. Number 7. My mom rented a never-ending story and dad told me if I tried to watch it, I'd have to sit there forever because it never ended. I remember being thankful for my dad's warning and wondering why my mom would do that to me. Number 8. The button on your armrest on airplanes is the eject button. I found out it reclines your seat embarrassingly late. When I was a kid my dad always told me not to touch it because it was an emergency button. One time when I was like 5 we were flying to visit family and he fell asleep, so I pressed it a bunch because I was curious. Nothing happened and I fell asleep thinking it must be broken. I woke up in a stroller with my parents upset because the plane had to make an emergency landing and I started crying because I thought it was my fault. This reminds me of when my mean ex-stepfather who was big, terrifying and cruel told me to never turn the water on outside, the one that you connect a hose to. My friend across the street, we were like 5, needed water to make mud pies and I accidentally dripped some water onto the cement. I knew he would see it if he got home from work before it dried up. I started crying so hard and right then it started to rain. I started praying and thanking God for helping me out of that one and promised to never turn on the water again. Number 9. When my sister and I were kids, our mom lied and told us that she was a Grammy-nominated and winning singer. She said that all of the trophies were in our attic, knowing that neither of us would ever go in and check for them. My sister and I bragged to all of our friends about it for years, only to discover that our mom isn't a very good singer at all. We've held this lie over her head for nearly 20 years now, so this past Christmas, we gifted her with a fake Grammy that has her name engraved in her favorite music category, citing her as the winner of it. She laughed until she cried. Number 10. When I was 6 my parents told me that when you flush from an airplane toilet, the waste gets dumped mid-air into the ocean. I believed that and told all of my friends. Parents then told me they were joking and I became the class fool. See, I thought that as a kid. Not because anyone told me, but in my child mind it made sense. As a result, I was terrified to use a plane bathroom. In the late 90s, I was on a plane with my mom and I needed to go, but refused. Stewardess said that if I went, I could sit with the pilot for the rest of the flight. I still refused. Now, I'm kicking myself cause that's a chance I'd never get again. I was scared that thing could suck your guts out through your ass lol.